Hello dear friends, a very warm welcome to a new session focusing on 10 questions on literary theory. Friends, in our earlier videos we have done some questions on cultural studies, and now from now onwards we will focus on literary theory, which is once again considered to be rather a difficult topic, a difficult area for the NET aspirants. Friends, I will try like earlier to give you idea about the important concepts and important theorists who generally feature in NET examination papers. At the same time, like always, I request you to not only just go through these questions, but try to follow all the options why I have included them, which writers, books, theorists, concepts have been included in these questions, because I think, as far as my experience goes, that these are some of the most important concepts that are frequently asked in NET English paper. So without wasting any more time in formal introduction, let's move to our today's literary theory quiz, friends. And these MCQs basically are based on feminism, eco-criticism and post-colonialism. Okay, here we roll to our first question, and this one it starts with post-colonialist theory and describing the ambivalence. This word itself is an important term. Okay, describing the ambivalence of mimicry. Once again, very important term. My dear friends, I must tell you, जब भी आप ये वीडियो देखें या कोई भी वीडियो देखें और पोस्ट कॉलोनियलिज्म लिटरेरी थियरी के बारे में पढ़ें, एक होमी के भाभा का नाम, दूसरा इनसे रिलेटेड जितने भी कॉन्सेप्ट हैं, प्लीज़ फोकस ऑन देम, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड देम. ओके, so describing the ambivalence of mimicry, Bhabha uses the phrase. Now what is the phrase? Almost the same and dash. That serves to undermine and make uncertain the totalizing discourses of the colonial system. Okay, you have to find out the second part of this phrase. Thoda sa I should describe what Bhabha is trying to say. Undermine and make uncertain. किस चीज़ को अंडरमाइन या अनसर्टेन करते हैं? जो कॉलोनियल सिस्टम एक ऐसा डिस्कोर्स प्रेजेंट करता है जो अपनी नेचर के अंदर टोटलाइजिंग होता है. इट मीन्स जो कॉलोनियल पावर है वो एक तरह का नैरेटिव, एक तरह का डिस्कोर्स प्रेजेंट करते हैं जिसके अंदर जितनी भी कॉलोनीज हैं उन सब के कल्चर, सबके एक्सपीरियंस, सबके सिस्टम को वो एक टोटल, एक कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव व्यू में, एक जनरल व्यू में देखते हैं. इट इज़ अगेंस्ट दिस थिंग Bhabha says that they try to construct a kind of narrative, a kind of discourse which is almost the same but not same, but not quite, still different or without difference. You have to pick the right phrase which fits here. And friends, this time the answer is but not quite. देखिए ये phrase ही अपने आप में बता रहा है almost the same. Mimicry means almost the same because it is mimicry, but not quite. There are certain elements that do not fit into the colonial narrative, into the colonial discourse, and these different elements, these counter elements, they are the reason of the ambivalence. They are the one which create hybridity. So it's a very important concept, friend. Please go through Homi Bhabha and all his major works. Okay, we move towards our next question, which is from feminist theory. A creature feminine is a concept coined by the French feminist Helene Cixous in her path-breaking essay. Okay, Helene Cixous, she is a very eminent French feminist theorist, and she gave a concept which is known as écriture feminine. You should know about this term, not only this term, what she implies by this term. Her basic intention by coining this term is to create a type of language which is free of we can say male language. She wants to create a language which is typically feminine in nature. Now, these books, these four are very popular books by Helene Cixous, and you have to find out कौन सी वो बुक थी जिसके अंदर उन्होंने कॉइन करी थी ये टर्म एक्रीचर फेमिनाइन. Okay friends, the answer is very popular book, The Laugh of Medusa. This is a book in which she takes help of mythology, myth related with Medusa, and presents that how women need a language of her own. Okay, moving forward to our next question, friends. Once again, it is from POCO or post-colonialism, and question is on once again Homi Bhabha. And this question, my friends, देखिए ये क्वेश्चन बहुत बढ़िया ढंग से फ्रेम किया है मैंने, इस वजह से कि जितने उनके इम्पॉर्टेंट एसेज हैं, at least in one line you should know about the theme of these essays. Homi Bhabha is considered as a foundational figure for post-colonial theory. Below are given some of his most popular essays and their core themes. Match the two columns. Okay, on our left side we have the name of the essays: At the Limits, Queen's English, Science, Taken for Wonders, and Adigio. Okay, now on the right side we have some we can say a basic punchline of the essay, a reflection on the legacy of Edward Said, the role of the English book in the perpetuation of English cultural rule, a study of hybridized speech, and a commentary on the aftermath of Salman Rushdie's satanic verses. Okay, you have to match the columns, and I hope you, one particular essay is very important, that is Science Taken for Wonder. This is very important essay from Homi Bhabha, and I think in many universities it is part of curriculum. Okay, let us go for the options. It is your work from A first, B third, C second, D fourth, different mutations, permutation, and I will go to the answer. And this one is okay, At the Limits. This is basically a commentary on the aftermath of Salman Rushdie's satanic verses. Queen's English, it is basically his study on the hybridized speech. Science Taken for Wonder, here sign is basically English language or English novels, the role of the English book in perpetuation of English cultural rule, and Adagio, I hope I am right in the pronunciation, I do not know, very frankly I am saying. And this one is a reflection on the legacy of Edward Said. Okay, so these are the matching of these two columns. Okay friends, now moving forward to our next question. This one is from Narrative Theory or Narratology. Narratology, Introduction to the Theory of Narrative by Mieke Bal is an outstanding work on the narratology. The book studies three major elements. Now, it is divided basically into three major parts related with the narrative. Which among these is the correct pair of these elements? Now, आपको ये बताना है कि बुक के अंदर तीन मेजर पेयर्स को कंसिडर किया गया है, and I have given you four options. You have to identify which one is right and or which one is wrong. First combination is text and words. Second one is story and aspects. Third one is fabula and elements. And fourth one is plot and structure. Okay, friends, right answer for this is first, second, and third. Yes, friends, Mieke considers she very significantly and very she gave in-depth analysis of how from text we move to story and from story we move to fabula. Okay, this plot or structure, it is not part of her study. So the answer is first, second, and third. So friends, this was our fourth question, and give me some time. I must tell you that if you find these video lessons worthy of your time, if you find them helpful in exploring, giving you something to explore, something to learn, please upvote. And you can also message me on my WhatsApp number if you want PDF of these quizzes or some material. I hope your support will continue to grow. Okay, moving forward for our next question. Once again, look at, I have included Homi Bhabha because if you look at previous papers, you will definitely find him in one and even sometimes more than one question. Homi Bhabha, this one is try to understand. Homi Bhabha calls the process by which the colonial governing authority undertakes to translate the identity of the colonized or the other within a singular universal framework, but then fails producing something familiar but new. Okay, a bit difficult. देखिए होमी भाभा जब भी लिखते हैं, he is basically quite infamous for his typical difficult style. I would try to make it easy by chopping it into parts. He is trying to say any colonial government or the colonizer, he tries to translate the identity of the colonized in a singular universal framework. All colonized are similar, all colonized are one. Okay, but this is not possible because they fail to produce something familiar but new. They find that many times, almost all the time, when they want to reach one particular formula, there are always some kind of subversions, some kind of differences, and this he uses one particular term for this process. Okay, four terms I have given you in these options, and all four are very important terms. You should know all these four: ambivalence, mimicry, hybridity, and third space. All these are very important, and but for this our answer is hybridity. Okay friends, hybridity वो process है by which भाभा tells us कि किस तरह से जो colonized है वो colonizer का एक जो colonizer है वो colonized को एक universal frame में present करने की कोशिश करता है, but somehow it is not possible, and this process is known as hybridity. Okay, moving forward, in her groundbreaking 1963 book The Feminine Mystique, Betty Friedan focused on the problem that has no name. I have included this phrase because this itself is an important part. It can be asked, ये क्वेश्चन भी आपसे पूछा जा सकता है. For Friedan, मिस्टीक stood for, ये जो टाइटल के अंदर फेमिनिन मिस्टीक है, इस मिस्टीक का क्या मतलब है? Okay, the unexpressed sexuality of women and her suppressed desires, the contrast between her social position and spiritual strength, the unrecognized capabilities of a woman, the contrast between the reality of married life and the idealization of domesticity. Okay friends, ये mystique क्या है? ये mystique basically, yes, and Freddie talks about the contrast, the opposite of illusion and reality. The reality of married life, how it is basically quite a task for a woman to live the life of a wife, and in books and movies how the domesticity is idealized and presented as something perfect. Okay, this is the Mystic, and it is very good and very important book, cardinal book in the feminist theory. Okay, moving forward to our question number 7. And what is the name of the publication house that first published US edition of The Wretched of the Earth in 1963 with a translated forward by Jean-Paul Sartre? ओके देखिए 2-3 इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ हैं. रेचेड ऑफ द अर्थ ये 1963 के अंदर यूएस के अंदर फर्स्ट टाइम पब्लिश हुई थी, और इसका जो फॉरवर्ड था उस समय लिखा था जीन पॉल सात्रे ने. ओके, you have to tell the name of the publication house. If you have observed, if you have given a net exam in earlier attempts, you should know that for past 2 or 3 times it has been a practice of paper setters to include question about the publication history also. So I have used this opportunity to tell you about these things. Okay, Grove Press, West Virginia University Press, Holt, Rinehart and Winston, and University of Massachusetts Press. All these are very established publication houses of US and quite an early publication houses of US, and our answer for this question is Grove Press. Yes friends, it was Grove Press who published the first US edition of The Wretched of the Earth, which is one of the we can say earliest book in POCO or post-colonial theory. Question number 8. The approach for the observation and study of the relationship between the literature and the Earth's environment is generally known by the name of green studies. Okay, you can understand green studies. It is a umbrella term for relationship between literature and the Earth's environment. And now different critics, various critics have coined terms for such approach. We have to find out between this left column, which is about these terms, and right column, which is about the critics who have coined these terms to name this approach. We have terms like eco-criticism, which is now most popular, eco-critique, eco-poetics and environmental criticism. These 4 terms are given by these critics. You have to find out the order, and our options, once again it is this question, you have to do this job, find out which connection goes best. And friends, I will go through, tell you that you must know one thing I can assure, this is a question which is bound to come. Eco-criticism, it is coined by Cheryl Glotfelty. She is one of the most important name in eco-critic studies, and eco-criticism term is coined by Cheryl Glotfelty. Then we have eco-critic. Eco-critic is coined by Lawrence Buell, eco-poetics by Jonathan Bate, and environmental criticism by Tim Liu. So here we have this, I have maybe clicked B1. Yes, I made an error. Environmental criticism is basically by Lawrence Buell, and eco-critique is by Tim Liu. Eco-poetics is by Jonathan Bate. Okay, now I think yes, you can go to this one. Okay, moving to our question number 9. There is no such thing as a third world literature which can be constructed as an internally coherent object of theoretical knowledge. Ajaz Ahmad, in his book In Theory Classes, Nations, Literatures. Very popular book and very important book once again. The book is actually a vigorous response to the essay Third World Literature in the Era of Multinational Capitalism. One prominent leftist or Marxist critic wrote this essay, and he basically pointed out third world literature, basically one term, once again a universal term for all the literature coming from the developing nations. Now Ajaz Ahmad, he refuted this notion and wrote this particular book in Theory, Classes, Nation and Literature, which is a collection of essays. Now you have to point out the writer of this essay, Third World Literature in the Era of Multinational Capitalism, whether it was Edward Said, Franz Fanon, Homi Bhabha or Frederick Jameson. Okay friends, right answer for this question is Frederick Jameson, who basically pointed out third world literature, pointed out or coined out this term that all the literature coming from the developing or South Asian countries have some common qualities, and Ajaz Ahmad refuted this claim. Last question for this particular session, my friends, is Kate Millett in her influential dissertation Sexual Politics 1970 focuses on the work of some famous novelists about the way they view and discuss sex through a patriarchal filter. Which among these novelists is not discussed by her? My dear friends, I have come across many students who do this particular kind of error. They do not, they read in quite an hasty manner and misses this knot, and then they commit an error and then they review later. So please read question carefully, read it twice basically before ticking your answer. So in Sexual Politics जो केट मिलेट हैं वो डिस्कस करती हैं किस तरह से जो मेजर नॉवलिस्ट हैं 20th सेंचुरी के, उन्होंने विमेन का प्रेजेंटेशन एक पर्टिकुलर पैट्रियार्कल फिल्टर से किया है. And she discusses three great novelists of the modern tradition. You have to point out which among these is not the one who is discussed by her, whether it is James Joyce or D.H. Lawrence or Henry Miller or Norman Mailer. Okay friends, the right answer is James Joyce. Yes, she discusses D.H. Lawrence, Henry Miller and Norman Mailer, but not James Joyce. With this, we come to the end of this particular session of 10 questions. I hope they have given you something to think about, something to read about. Preparing for NET is a long process. It's a continuously working, and we can never say that we have learned enough, we have understood enough, we have read enough. You have to explore all the avenues which you can. Neither there is one book nor there is one source which can ensure the guarantee that you can now crack the NET. The only thing you can rely on is your own confidence. I wish you all the best for your coming exams, and I hope you are finding these videos worthy of your time. You can visit my other videos at Liticity, which is your own channel for English literature. Thank you, my dear friends.